Today we're working on a Dodge Caliber. This is a first gen 2007, but this should be the same for many different models across many different manufacturers. But the condenser went out, so we have to remove the front bumper so we can remove it. You're gonna need a 10 millimeter, a 7 millimeter, and a 20 Torx bit. First thing we wanna do is take out this air bridge here that goes over the battery, and then you want to remove the 10 millimeter bolts that are holding this in, and it'll just come right out. We'll come around to the side. We'll start working on the side here, and right here on the side you have the 7 millimeters, two of them. So disconnect those. You'll be able to remove this flap after you remove that tab there. When you get behind there, there'll be a screw inside. All right, we got the front bumper off here. It's quite easy. We'll go outside and show you. It's only held on with a few clips and a few screws. All right, that's the front bumper. Again, the top 4 screws are the 10 millimeters that you gotta take out. Then you'll have 3 on the bottom. Those are 10 millimeters as well. Those are push screws that you gotta take out. There's 2 on each side, along with the 7 millimeter up there. And then the 7 millimeters on the side plastic that goes down, that stays on the actual vehicle. Okay, the condenser and oil cooler or transmission oil cooler are one unit together. On the top here you have transmission lines. On the side here you have the Freon lines. The leak is coming from the welded area here, we confirm that. So it's very simple to get out now. We just gotta remove those bolts down there. They're 10 millimeters on both sides. Disconnect these fittings here. You just slide the cap back and pop the little clip out, and then take off these bolts and disconnect it. Now you're gonna have to recharge the system, and if there's any Freon in there, you're gonna have to evacuate it properly with gauges and a machine. So we'll take this thing off and get the new one on. Okay, we removed the condenser and trans oil cooler assembly. These lines are super easy to get off. Just get a little pick or screwdriver and pry them off. We have some silicone plugs because we don't want to lose any fluid. Same on this side, you don't want let any additional air into the AC system, so we plugged up those holes. And it's split in a normal spot that these things split in the weld. All right down there, you see the die. So we'll wait for the new one to get in and we'll charge it back up. We got the new condenser assembly. It's a little dented on the bottom. Hopefully it doesn't give any issues. Had to transfer over the 2 studs. It's a 5 millimeter you can use to take them off. The old one, we're gonna set it back in there and draw a vacuum down in the system, and hopefully it holds. All right, everything's hooked back up. We're gonna draw a vacuum down for about 30 minutes, and we're looking for about 30 HG on the low side there in the red in the bottom. We held vacuum right at 30 HG for about 20 minutes or so, good enough. We're gonna charge the system up now and test it out and make sure we have AC and no leaks. Okay, we charged the system and it is operating perfectly now. As you can see there, we're at about 25 on the low side, 26, and about 90, 95 on the high side. Come over here and look at the thermometer, and it's 42.9 degrees Fahrenheit out the center vent, which is perfect. It will coincide with the pressure here. Once this pressure starts rising above 30, the temperature in the car will start to rise, and then this line will freeze, and it'll let the evaporator do its thing, and we'll come back and check that. All right, the temperature needle's starting to fluctuate there. Temperature over here should start rising soon. All right, you can start to see this line getting some frost. That's the orifice tube that's inside there, and that's where the exchange happens, through here and going into the evaporator. And that's how you can tell if your system's working. You're gonna have water coming out of your evaporator core inside, dripping down the floor, and your low lines, all of your low lines are gonna have a nice little frothy sheen on them and be cold. Pressures look good. And temperature might be on the rise now to show that orifice tube working. All right, the low pressure is rising slightly, and as you can see, the temperature is rising on the thermometer, and that can be accompanied with the frost here. And as you see, we got a frozen droplet of water right here, and a not frozen one right there, and your orifice tube is right in there where those crimps are. So that shows that this is working properly. We're up to 44 now. And it'll bounce between about 47, 48 to 42. And that's how you know the AC system's working properly. Alright, we just heard the orifice tube release and the temperature's coming down now. As you can see, the pressures have changed. The low side is creeping up towards 40. And all the ice has melted here. So now we know we're getting flow through the orifice tube into the evaporator core. The low side's still looking good. Right about 35, 40 is where we want to see it. And we should start seeing a drop in temperature again here in a second. Pressure is on the way back down, and temperatures should follow with it. Our low side starting to get below 30 pounds, and that should coincide with a temperature change up here. And there we are, we have our temperature change, which is going down pretty quick now. As you can see there in live time. Again, the low side is still going to creep down a few more pounds to about 25. And we'll get that temperature to come down to about 42 here. Alright, we're leveling out about 28, 29 PSI, and right at about 37 or 43.7 Fahrenheit. It's about 85 in the shop, so we'll call that good. It's a 40-degree difference between the ambient air, and that is absolutely perfect.